Okay, so we're going to do a little conversation. I don't know how long this video will be, but we're going to talk about the Snyderverse and why everybody that's a part of the Snyder Cult should, shut up. So, first off, I'm going to say it, okay? Nobody wants to say it, even though it's the truth. The Snyderverse failed miserably. Yes, the Snyder Cult made it money, but you have to remember that was the Snyder Cult as well as the DC fan base. And I know that the Snyder Cult, they're all, oh, we are the DC. No, you're not. And today proved it. Today proved that you guys know nothing about DC. The Snyder Cult knows nothing about DC Comics. But those movies, Man of Steel was a tolerable movie. I actually watched it. I didn't think it was bad. I don't like Superman. So it was a good movie except for the Superman part of it. I thought that was boring. And Batman vs. Superman, that was an okay movie. I didn't like the let's just throw everything together because we want to catch up to Marvel. I didn't like that. It was dumb. And the Martha part, that was kind of dumb too. I won't lie. It wasn't dumb, but it was very much meme-worthy. It wasn't really good for a movie. It was meme-worthy. It was Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man. And Justice League, oh my god, both versions of Justice League, okay? I have said this time and time again, I will not deny it. Both versions of Justice League are just sleep aids. They are so fucking boring that there is no point watching that bullshit. I'm sorry if you're offended by that. I don't really care. Those two movies, Justice League and Justice League Snyder Cut, were boring as hell. Both versions. I could break down those movies, but I really don't feel like it, because I'd have to watch them again. And that's not worth my time. Those movies were shit. You can deny it all you want because you're so far up Zack Snyder's ass that you don't know what else to say. But it's the truth. Those movies sucked. Now, everybody can jump and say, oh, you're just a James Gunn fan. No, James Gunn does good work. But I am not on the James Gunn bandwagon. I don't care enough about who's directing the movies. As long as it's a good movie, I'll enjoy it. I can list a dozen movies, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I don't care about directors or anything like that. And people want to point out that... And this is where the proof starts that it's not the DC fan base, that Zack Snyder's cult is not the DC fan base. Because let's look at every movie that came out. Okay, there was Shazam, there was Flash, there were a few others. I can't remember them all off the top of my head. And you guys all want to talk about how James Gunn is ruining DC with these movies. Do you guys realize these movies, except for probably a couple little changes and not many at all, these movies were Zack Snyder. This was all under Zack Snyder's brand. Everything that you guys are complaining at James Gunn about because James Gunn is ruining DC, that was Zack Snyder. James Gunn just allowed them to finish. That's all James Gunn really did. He allowed them to finish and put a little bit of work into Flash to start building a new universe. Instead of just rebooting everything, he used Snyder's work to reboot. That's all he did. Those movies were not changed that much because James Gunn took over. No, those are all projects that came from the Snyderverse. So we're already seeing, because of the decline in sales, because you guys are all butthurt that the Snyderverse is dying, we're seeing the decline in sales because the Snyder Cut isn't going anymore. The movies are still making good money. I mean, no, we should lower the budget of these films, yes. But they're still making decent money. They're not bad movies. Plain and simple. But today is the day. Let me find this information again. There it is. Okay, there it is. So, today or yesterday, I'm not sure, it was announced that we are getting, as a matter of fact, I want to make sure I'm giving the best information, so, you know what, I'll just type in Superman. Come on, this should not be that hard to find. There we go, that's good enough. Okay, so they announced that this movie, Superman, will have Guy Gardner, one of the Green Lanterns. This movie will have, come on. James Gardner. I probably should have just done Superman Legacy. That would have worked better. There we go. It will have Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner, and Mr. Terrific. I also heard rumors of Crypto and Jimmy Olsen. And people are losing their minds. The Snyder Cult is just losing your fucking minds. And you want to know why they're losing their minds? They are losing their minds because comic book fans were upset and annoyed that Zack Snyder pushed Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman in the same movie, with cameos from Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg. Now, I didn't really care. I didn't. Because I'd been waiting to see the trio for a long time. It was nice to finally see the trio. But it was. It was all rushed. It was all forced. It was all bullshit. And people are like, oh, but what's the difference between this lineup and putting the trilogy in one movie? Okay, so we got Superman in a Superman movie. Okay, I don't know how you're gonna make a Superman movie without a Superman. That doesn't make sense. Lois Lane, huh? Yeah, I don't really see you making too much of a Superman movie without Lois Lane, so that makes sense. Jimmy Olsen, Superman's best friend. That's a cameo. He's not going to have any major part of the movie. It's just a cameo. Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific. You guys are acting, because these are Justice League members, you are acting as if, they're obviously bringing in the whole Justice League. Okay, let's talk Marvel. Okay? In the Avengers, actually leading up to the Avengers, yes, yet again, we're talking about leading up to, not just throw it all out there. But, leading up to the Avengers, they introduced two side characters. Side characters! Black Widow and I don't remember his name right now. Hawkman, Hawkeye. I think it's Hawkeye. We're going with Hawkeye. Black Widow and Hawkeye. There's so many of the same character throughout Marvel, DC, and other comics that I'm sorry I can't remember all the Arrow's characters. Hawkeye. That's what Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific are going to be. They are not going to be any major characters. Yes, they'll probably be in the Justice League movie when we get there. But they're just introducing characters. Okay, so we've covered that. Then we've got Guy Gardner, one of the Green Lanterns. And when I say one of the Green Lanterns, let me remind you all, and this is right here why I say, you don't know DC! Let's talk about who really likes Guy Gardner, who reads DC Comics. Oh yeah, that's right. Nobody. Nobody liked Guy Gardner. As a matter of fact, every time he comes back, he is replaced very quickly because people get tired of his character. That's why he's being played by Nathan Fillion. It's a great actor who can do the role, be an annoying douchebag, and probably never be seen again. More than likely, Guy Gardner is going to be the character that shows Superman how he doesn't want to be. Okay? I don't even like Superman. But this casting is very obvious that you guys are just reaching because you want to reach so that you can say the Snyderverse wasn't complete bullshit. But it was. Your arguments are all invalid, and your arguments only show that you don't know DC Comics. All three of these characters, other than Jimmy Olsen, Crypto, and fucking Lois Lane, all three of them are going to be characters that are either forgotten after this movie, maybe they're the bad guy of this movie. Have we seen a villain listed yet? No! So yes, you guys are overreacting. The Snyder Cult is trying too hard, and you're failing. Everybody knows that that these are not going to be the main Justice League. That's like saying, ready? That's like saying, oh, they put Captain America, or no, actually, sorry. That's like saying, oh, they put Squirrel Girl. I'm trying to think of three shitty Marvel characters, but I like Marvel more than DC. I'm sorry. But that's like Jubilee, Squirrel Girl, and you know what? Gambit. And saying, oh, look, they forced the Avengers. That's what you guys sound like right now. You are taking some of the most minuscule characters and comparing them to the original team. The original Avengers. Yes, there were other characters introduced in the lead-up. But the original Avengers was Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man. Not even Hulk. Not anybody else that was on that team. All three of those characters got their own solo movie before they launched into the Avengers. You don't have to give every character a solo movie. But fans are going to be upset if the main characters... Wolverine's not getting a solo movie, but he's in the lead up to Deadpool 3. Come on now. You can put side characters in a movie. That's all these characters are. Yes, they are great characters, but they are side characters. This is not the trilogy. This is not what everybody was waiting to see. That's actually why I watched Justice League and Batman vs. Superman. I was waiting to see the original trilogy for the first time together on the big screen. Yes, I was there. I was not part of the argument of, oh, they forced it. They did, but I still enjoyed it. And that's what cinema is about. It's about creating something people will enjoy. It's not about forcing another MCU, which is what Zack Snyder did. And it failed. Remember that, Snyder Cult. It failed. I'm glad James Gunn is taking over, because you assholes need to shut the fuck up. End rant.